What's going on, Imperials? It's Emperor Cubone here. We've talked about all the legendary Pokemon throughout the first 6 generations in depth, discussing how to capture all of these rare creatures of fables long past. However, given that we have confirmation that Gen 9 is coming to us next, I thought that since Gen 8 has finally come to a close, now would be a good time to finish out talking about all of the legendaries that have accumulated since Gen 7. And boy is it a lot! So, starting with Sun and Moon, the mascots of Solgaleo and Lunala are found at the altar of the Sun or Moon, depending on your version on Pony Island. However, there's more to it than that, because you'll actually meet them at Mahalo Trail as Nebby the Cosmog. To get them, all you gotta do is play through the story, and eventually it will become a Cosmoem that you can't actually catch, but fear not. After you return to the altar of the Sun or Moon in the daytime or nighttime default of your version's time zone, there will be a portal that will take you to the other version, so that at the Lake of the Sun or Moon, if you bring the opposite version legend, then you can find a wild Cosmog and then evolve it so that it can learn that one extra move. But you can only evolve it further into your version mascot. But I guess you could just kidnap your friends that you needed to get it in the first place. But of course there are plenty more legends here in Alola, so let's talk about the Tapus. These guardians watch over each of the respective islands, so obviously that's where they can be found. Each island has a shrine for this Pokemon, so to get Tapu Koko you have to beat the Elite Four and then head over to the Ruins of Conflict. Tapu Lele is in the Ruins of Life on Akala, Tapu Bulu is in the Ruins of Abundance on Ula Ula, and Tapu Fini is in the Ruins of Hope on Pony Island. Easy enough. Now, one of the strangest things that Alola brought in is an upgrade to last gen's legendary in Zygarde, since it was split up into 100 different pieces scattered around the region. You just suck them up in the Zygarde cube, and once you have a core and 10% of the total cells, you can get Zygarde in its speedy dog form. Once you collect more, up to 50%, you can get it how we knew in the Kalos region, and when you collect it all, you can get the 100% form with a unique ability. I'm not gonna list every single cell location, cause that would take until Thanksgiving, so you can find that elsewhere. But as we saw in the main story, Alola's got some major problems with Ultra Beasts spilling into the region. So Looker will send you after them, giving you their location. And he'll just outright tell you that there are Nihilego, one in the Diglett's Tunnel and the other in the Wela Volcano Park. So it's up to you to wander around and find it randomly, but you'll know when it happens. Then you just report back and get your next assignment. However, they do start to deviate between versions, because Buzzwole is in Sun and Pheromosa is in Moon. But beyond that, Buzzwole is found in Melee Meadow, while Pheromosa is over at the Verdant Cavern. And if that weren't enough of a difference, for some reason there are 2 of the Bug Bodybuilders and 4 of the Runway models. I don't know why, but it's up to you to catch them all. After that, the third option, Xurkitree, shows up, with one in the Lush Jungle and the other at Memorial Hill. So that's simple enough. But then we see another split with Kartana and Celesteela. This time Kartana has 4 with just 2 of the other. One Kartana can be found on Route 17 with Celesteela in the Hyena Desert. But then you can actually find the rest of them in the same place, both being found in the Mali Gardens. The final Ultra Beast is Guzzlord that can be found on Pony Island in the basement of Resolution Cave. So be sure to hold on to all of those Beast Balls. But upon completing the quest, you're informed of one last target. It turns out this is actually the legendary Necrozma that can be found at 10 Carat Hill. It's kind of lackluster, but I'm sure they'll fix that later. In the post-game, you will also be gifted type Null. I don't personally think of this as a legendary Pokemon, but some people insist, so go get the post-game gift from Gladion at the Ether Paradise, and be sure to get the full friendship to evolve it into Silvally. So aside from some of the Mega Stones, that's it for legendary Pokemon in Sun and Moon. They did release some mythical Pokemon like Magearna being obtainable with a QR code that you could use, so that's a nice change of pace. There were also some other random ones like Shiny Tapu Koko, and ones from even other generations like the Celebi event or even Dialga and Palkia, but all of those have since expired, so I'll just mention the new ones like Marshadow being distributed in this time. So now we move on to the Ultra games, and despite some changes to the story, you'll still take the mascot to the altar, and that's where Necrozma comes in to waste them. After you battle it, you have to go to Ultra Space and face Ultra Necrozma, which can be quite challenging, but you still can't catch it then. You'll have to wait until Victory Road, when you discover it in a smoldering crater where it was cast down after you defeated it. This moves Solgaleo and Lunala to Mahalo Trail, where Lily will ask you to train them in her stead in the post-game. You can find Cosmog in the same way as before, getting to the opposite lake with your Nebby friend after the Elite Four, and all of the Tapus are in the same locations as well. You can now find Zygarde in its 50% form in Resolution Cave, but you are still able to alter it in the lab, and if you defeat Dexio, he will give you the 10% form as well. And you do still get a Type Null gift, but this time it's from Wick at the Ancient Pony Path in the post-game. So, what are really different about these games? Well, firstly, you can get the brand new Pokemon Poipole. This one is just handed to you in Ultra Megalopolis after you've beaten Necrozma there, so it's pretty nice to get another World's Starter Pokemon for free. But there's more to the new, because you can also have Stakataka and Blacephalon. After we become the champion, the Ultra Recon Squad will call us to the Pony Grove, where you can capture the Clown in Ultra Sun and the Brick Wall in Ultra Moon. So then what about all of the other Ultra Beasts? Well, since we can now fly through Ultra Space and find untold numbers of wormholes, if you want these strange space creatures, you'll want to take the White Wormholes. The White Wormholes specifically will take you to the unique lands from which the Ultra Beasts originate, so that you can know which one is there before you even reach the end. But that's not all, because as we know, every generation must have a way to capture all of the legendary Pokémon, and these wormholes do just the trick. So there are not only red, blue, yellow, and green wormholes, but also 4 grades of importance. So you'll want the biggest and most impressive looking wormholes to try and get the legends. So in the red wormholes, we find aerial Pokemon, such as the Kanto legendary birds and Crescelia, but it is split into versions, with Ultra Sun having Ho-Oh and Tornadus, with Thundurus and Yveltal in Ultra Moon. The yellow wormholes give us the 3 Regis, but it is then split with Groudon, Heatran in Ultra Sun, and Palkia and Regigigas in Ultra Moon. The blue wormholes provide the Lake Guardians, with it then being split to have Latios in Sun, but Latios in Moon along with Lugia and Kyogre. That might sound unbalanced, but the green wormholes have Mewtwo and the Swords of Justice, with it splitting to have Entei and Zekrom in Moon, but with Raikou, Dialga, Reshiram, and Xerneas in Sun. And that's not even all, because there are some legendaries that require you to obtain their counterparts first, such as Suicune being in the blue wormhole only after you have Raikou and Entei. The same is true with Kyurem here as well. Rayquaza and Landorus can be found in the red wormholes, with Giratina being in the yellow. I guess this is a good time to mention the fact that Zeraora exists, but it could only be received in events. So that's it for the 3DS, but not for Generation 7. Yes, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are indeed Gen 7 games. You can fight me on this, but you'll lose. The sheer fact that they have Mega should be enough, but whatever, we're here to talk about the Legends, and luckily they are in exactly the same places they were back in Gen 1. Articuno is in the depths of the Seafoam Islands, Zapdos is at the power plant, and Moltres is within Victory Road. That's easy enough, and Mewtwo is still in Cerulean Cave. The only difference now is that you can get a Mew if you buy the Pokeball Plus accessory. Yeah, that's pretty bad, but we should also consider that Meltan is here as well. This Pokemon is exclusively found in Pokemon Go, and this is the only place that you can evolve it as well. But both of these Pokemon can be transferred to the Let's Go games and used like any other Gen 1 monster. So now that we're on the Switch, let's talk about Gen 8. It's actually a bit strange because the first legendary Pokemon that you catch is not the one on the box. The story will prompt you to instead capture Eternatus. Now, you will work with the Armored Wolves, but you can't capture Zacian or Zamazenta until completing the post-game quest in the Slumbering Weld with those weirdos that have the awful hair. Then there's Kubfu that you have to pay for as well. Okay, it's not that bad, but once you buy the Isle of Armor, you just walk up to the dojo and then they give you Kubfu. Then it's just up to you to evolve it based on which form you would like to have better. But the Crown Tundra is where things really kick off. You've got Calyrex, whose story can easily be triggered, where you will get it and your choice of Glastrier and Spectrier by planting carrots in the snow or in a graveyard. It makes more sense at the time, trust me. Just follow the steps laid out and you'll get the King of Bountiful Harvests and his steed. Of course, there are also the Regis in their temples, unlocked via an Everstone, Cryogonal, and Whistling for some reason. But once you have all 3 of them, you can unlock the 4th temple, where you can decide the pattern on the floor to get either Regieleki or Regidrago. But you're going to need all of them, because only all of the Regis can unlock Regigigas in the Circle of Stones with the usually inactive Pokemon Den. A similar thing can happen when Sonia prompts you to study the footprints all around. Once you collect 100 of each color, you can find Cobalion at the Frigid Sea, Terrakion in the Lakeside Cave, and Virizion at the Giant's Bed. The map will tell you where these spots are if you're not familiar, but once you have all 3 of them, there's even more, because if you go to the island in Balamer Lake and make some curry with your new friends, Keldeo will appear. This is the first time since Oros that they've included a mythical in the game to catch without event distribution. There's also the regional variants of the legendary birds, and after you see them at the tree, they'll peace out and you have to go chase them down. Articuno is still at the Crown Tundra, but Zapdos is running around the wild area, and Moltres circles the Isle of Armor, which is really a great touch to tie the whole game together. Also, after you've quelled the horse of your choice, there's an old lady in Freezington who will give you a Cosmog. And this fits pretty well because apparently an Ultra Wormhole has opened up in the sky and caused some shakeups in the Dynamax adventures. So yeah, like last time, you can catch boatloads of legendaries at the end of the Dynamax adventures, with the likes of the regular legendary birds, Mewtwo, the legendary beasts, Rayquaza, the Lake Guardians, Giratina, Heatran, Crescelia, Landorus, Kyurem, Zygarde, the Tapus, and Necrozma, but that last one is only after the wormhole opens up. The same is true for the Ultra Beasts that will then appear to be captured as well. And once you've caught at least 5 of them, you'll be gifted a Poipole at the opening from a scientist. But all of this is for both versions. Exclusively, you can catch Ho-Oh, Latios, Groudon, Dialga, Tornadus, Reshiram, Xerneas, and Solgaleo in Sword version, and Lugia, Latias, Kyogre, Palkia, Thundurus, Zekrom, Yveltal, and Lunala for Shield. Good greedence, that's a lot of Pokemon from the Galar region. But the gin ain't over yet. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. In the interest of time, I'll just say that these Sinnoh legends are all exactly where they were in the originals, so if you want to know more about that, check out the Gen 4 entry. I will say that they made it far easier to get the mythical events such as Darkrai, Shaman, and Manaphy, but they also have new gifts of Mew and Jirachi in Floroma Town. Mew is there if you have Let's Go save data on your Switch, and Jirachi for Sword and Shield data on the same console. However, there is Ramanos Park, where the Pal Park used to be, and you can unlock the slates that allow you access to certain legends that were around by Gen 4, such as the Regis, the Eon Twins, Mewtwo, Origin Form Giratina, and the Hoenn-Weather Trio. Exclusively, Brilliant Diamond has Ho-Oh and the legendary beasts, and Shining Pearl has Lugia and the other birds, so it's quite fitting. But even that isn't all, because Legends Arceus exists. So real quick, you'll be taken up to the Temple of Sinnoh, where after you've chosen the Diamond or Pearl clan, they will give you either Dialga or Palkia. And then you'll have to fight the other one in its origin form. Of course, Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf will be found at their respective lakes. You'll find Heatran in the cave at Firespit Island, and Regigigas is predictably in the basement of Snowpoint Temple after you get the Iron, Stone, and Icicle plates. Albeit this time the puzzle is different. If you visited the library in Canalave City, you'll know that if you take a Buizel, Mantike, and giant Quillfish into the sunset at the Cobalt Coastlands, then you'll unlock a chamber that has Manaphy. And there's even Fione in here as well. Crescelia can be found in the Moonbreak Arena once that request has been unlocked, and if you have save data for the remakes, a request will be unlocked that will send you to the Clamorclaw Cliffs to take on Darkrai. This one can be pretty tricky. Likewise, if you have Sword and Shield save data, then you'll get a request to thank Shaman by taking the Crescelia flower to the gardens in the Obsidian Fieldlands. This is where you'll be able to catch it. Also, after you defeat Volo, you can find Giratina in the Spring Path. However, unlike the remakes, the forces of nature are here as well. Tornadus is up in the Bone Chill Wastelands only if there's a storm, Thundurus is in the eastern seas of the Cobalt Coastlands if there's a storm, and Landorus is at Ramanos Island. Each of these Pokemon have a barrier that you have to take down by throwing items before you can even attempt a capture. However, once you have all 3 of them, you can then go after the brand new member of their group, Enamorus. This fairy flying type is found at the Scarlet Bog, and will be just as tough to take down. And finally, after beating the game and having a completed Pokédex, if you return to the Temple of Sinnoh, you can finally capture the game's mascot, Arceus. It's a hard battle indeed, but it rewards you with this legendary Pokémon. But that's actually not all, because once you do that, it unlocks the Azure Flute in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, where you can go and capture Arceus there as well. It's not narratively connected like I wanted, but it's still kinda cool. So, those are all the legendary Pokémon from Generations 7 and 8. You might not notice it as it's happening, but it seems more recently these Pokémon are either just handed to you en masse, or walked right up to you in the main story with much fewer puzzles being involved. We'll have to see if this trend continues in Gen 9. What's your favorite way to capture legendary Pokémon? Let me know down in the comments. Also be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe so that you too can become an Imperial today. And we'll see you around next time!